Ready to take another step forward? Welcome to Guitar Chords Info Stream, Phase 7, 4-Finger Chords, Part 1. In Part 1, I want to teach you a new chord, and it sounds, the name of the chord is G, or more specifically, the Bluegrass G, and it sounds like this. If this chord sounds familiar, it's probably because you've actually heard it before. This is the chord that I used back in the Tuning Up series when I demonstrated the importance of tuning. As you may recall, I played this chord for you, then detuned the guitar and played the chord again, so it sounded something like, well, it didn't sound, probably more like that. But don't worry, I'm not going to do that to you again. I'm going to teach you how to play the chord this time. And see, I told you that you'd learn the chord when it was time. Well, now is that time. So the best way to start, as far as explaining to you how to play this chord, is to play your G6 chord again that you learned back in Phase 2. But instead of playing the notes with your third and second finger, we want to use the second and first finger instead. The same notes, but we're just using different fingers. But we're not going to let these two stay idly by. What I'm going to do now with this chord is I'm going to put my third finger on the second string at the 3rd fret, and then I'm going to put my 4th finger right underneath it on the 1st string at the 3rd fret. And the full chord. So in case that didn't resonate with you, I'll break the chord down one string at a time. For the 6th string, we would put our 2nd finger at the 3rd fret, and for the 5th string, we would put our 1st finger at the 2nd fret, and then the 4th string is open, the 3rd string is open, and for the 2nd string we would put our 3rd finger at the 3rd fret. If I can find it, there it is. And for on the 1st string, we would put our 4th finger at the 3rd fret. Now I'll demonstrate the chord by strumming it for you in 4/4 time. So now, of course, spend a little bit of time strumming the chord and enjoying the sounds of it. And really think of how far you've come. If you've learned to play from the beginning with me, from back in the Welcome and the Tuning Up series and Phase 1, Intro to Strumming and such, just think of how far you've come. You're getting close to the point where you turn the corner from actually just learning chords and such and learning to play, where you'll actually be playing your guitar and making music with it. We've just got to learn a few more chords and then work on changing chords. And once that happens, and once you get get your F chord down and your G6 to G7 and C to C major 7 down, you're really in a position to get to another level. So definitely for now, enjoy the sounds of this G chord, this Bluegrass G chord. But before I leave, I just want to say a couple of words about the name of the chord and such. There's no such thing as technically, there's no such thing as a bluegrass G chord. This is a nice way to play a G chord, a nice voicing of it, and it's used a lot in bluegrass, but it's also used in lots of other idioms and genres of music. And the reason I call it the bluegrass G is because the three-time national flat-picking champion Steve Kaufman calls it that, and that's one guitar player that knows what he's talking about. I've learned quite a bit from his videos and in-person workshops, and was even fortunate enough to have a private lesson with him one time. So I just thought I'd take a quick opportunity to plug Steve. And so that's why I call it the bluegrass G. But really the chord is just a G chord. It's just another way to make the G chord. And you'll hear other guitar players, they might call it a G6 or G suspended or something fancy, but really it's not. It's just a G chord, which I'll prove to you later on when you learn other ways to play a G chord, because this is not the only way, even though it's a good way to play it. Sounds nice, and I think it's just right for your fingers right now at this phase in your development. So when you spend some time enjoying the sound of this bluegrass G chord, see me in part 2, and we'll learn something else. And meanwhile, please like, comment, and subscribe.